This week's episode features sports and shutdowns, starting with Keith Pickens' critique on the management of the Detroit Tigers. The conversation shifts to the Detroit Lions' strong performance so far in the season, as well as hopes for the Detroit Pistons' upcoming basketball season. The conversation also touches on the government shutdown with different views on its impact and origins, and concludes with a debate about cell phone usage in schools. What's going on, Keith Pickens?
Hey, Tennessee.
Welcome back.
Thank
What's
you,
going on,
sir.
Mike Miller?
Hey there, Mr. Corley. How are you, sir? Hey, Keith.
We've had a fantastic week of sports and a fantastic week of government shutdown. So let's start with sports and we'll get into the heavy stuff later. Keith Pickens, you are a sports
sir.
guy. What do you think is going on with our Detroit Tigers?
How long you got, bro? What's going on with our Detroit Tigers?
Let me narrow it down for you. I
Okay.
know that you are always questioning AJ. So
Yes.
what do you think is going on, in particular the other day when he is changing up pitchers?
When you say the other day when they lost or prior to that, because they lost.
Yeah, they
And
lost yesterday.
My issue with AJ is this. He's just an analytics guy as far as I'm concerned. And everything he does, every decision that he makes, it seems to be predicated on analytics. And that's okay because the numbers, they say, don't lie. Although they can't be a 100% predictor of success, obviously. And so to me, he relies so much on analytics that he plays himself sometimes. I'm an old school guy. Back in the day when you had to manage without all those numbers readily available, sometimes he does things that just don't add up. Like putting in a Canley at any time is insane to me because he's only got 2 pitches and he usually only uses 1. And major league hitters are going to time you up. They're going to be ready for you, and you put yourself at peril. And a lot of times he's quick to pull pitchers out of game, even before they get to 100. So he's a little hasty just using analytics to manage as opposed to sometimes going by his baseball acumen or instincts. So, but when you ask what's going on with the Tigers per se, I don't care how good the pitching is. And Scoble was great last night. He gave up 2 home runs. If you don't score any runs, then it's not going to matter at all. So they're going to have to get a couple of hitters. Everybody wants to swing for the fence, and as a consequence of that, you get a lot of strikeouts. You miss a lot of opportunities. They're short on fundamentals. They're not really a bunting team, although they did bunt in the wild card series, and that helped them out. So there's a lot of things that I could see that they could do better. But most importantly, they're going to have somebody that can move runners along on the bases, sacrifice fly, bunt here or there, and just shore up the team. The pitching is okay. The relief pitching is not good. And we got a couple of dependable guys, but AJ wants to do everything by committee. He won't commit to having a closer. He won't commit to having a consistent rotation where people can get used to playing specific positions and so forth. And I guess it's new school or new age, but he feels that it's better to have everybody available and ready to do everything at all times. For me, he's playing himself a little short, where other teams do have consistent lineups and closers. And for that reason alone, we're going to have a hard time getting out of this round against Seattle.
But didn't Seattle have 6 pitchers the first night?
They used the pitchers that they had. They used their relief pitchers. I'm not saying that the teams aren't going to, because this is you got to be all in during the playoffs.
Right.
You got to use what you got to get to where you want to go. And so sometimes what AJ does for me, and he's the manager, he's the one he gets paid all the big bucks, not me. But his choices are questionable. He just has too much confidence in guys who aren't getting it done. Okay. And so when you go back to that same well and you expect they're going to get something different, that for me, that's the definition of insanity. That's just my opinion.
All right.
Okay.
So, Keith, did we overreact week 1 with the Lions?
I think so. I think the numbers are bearing it out. We're 4-1 now. I think that not having played everybody during the preseason, although they did practice, the ones against the ones, they came in a little rusty. They had to get acclimated to the new defensive coordinator and offensive coordinator, and they were caught off guard. And they're a team that says, you know what, no matter how we play, good, bad, or indifferent, the next game is going to be better. Because what we're going to do is we're going to go in, we're going to look at all the mistakes we made, and we're going to correct those mistakes, and we're going to try to play clean football. And basically what they did, that second game, they played fairly clean football. It hasn't been so clean the last couple of games, but their offense has opened up, and their defense with Shep has gotten, I love that defense right now and the schemes that they're running. And so it looks like everybody's on board and everybody's willing to go all in. And as a consequence, even the special teams, they're doing a great job. Yeah, right now they're playing complimentary football. It's paying off, and they're 4-1. I'm excited about going into Kansas City next week. And as long as we play clean football, I think we got a great chance because our offense is really potent and our defense is really good.
Mike Miller.
Absolutely. I agree with everything Keith said. Detroit is hot right now. They keep flexing us to national TV.
Next weekend is a Sunday night game.
Sunday night or Monday night?
It's a Sunday night.
Yeah, that one was already. I thought this last one against Cincinnati was flexed to the 4:25 slot for their national telecast on Fox. They had two, one for this part of the country, one for that part of the country. But anyway, it shows everybody's paying attention to what's going on with Detroit. We're a team to be reckoned with. It's a target on our back, and our schedule going forward shows it. We do have a tough schedule, and I love it. Bring it on. Campbell, like he said, he wants to play clean football, keep everybody grounded and focused. We got a goal, and everybody seems to be focused. It's just, in football, you're always going to have a lot of injuries. No matter what team, you're going to have some injuries. And the injury bug has been biting us. So we got to hopefully stay away from that, but it's not a whole lot you can do.
The seasons are long, and injuries come and disrupt everything.
Right. That's why your number two, your backup to whatever position, needs to be as good as your number one.
Yes.
Because that number one probably will get injured at some point in the season. And number two going to have to be ready to step in, and that's what we need, interchangeable parts.
Yeah. The Lions really have a great, and all teams in the NFL saying about the next man up, but they have a legit next man up mentality where they don't lose a lot. Obviously, they lose some because the second string typically is never going to be as good as the first string, which is why they're second string, of course. But when they go in, they're so focused, to your point, Mike, and they're so used to the fact that we got to be ready at all times because at all costs. And they just, like last year, they had all the defenders on the front line out, and we still played at a 15-2 season. This year, we're getting decimated in the secondary, and so it'll stand to reason that we have to either pick up somebody, elevate somebody from the practice squad, or just whoever's there right now is just going to have to play up to speed. You're right. Joe Burrows was out. Maybe the game would have been different yesterday if they had their starting quarterback. Man. The Ravens got pounded. Lamar Jackson is out. Right. And so that's really the key position. I mean, if we lose Goff, Lord knows how far we fall, because even, and that's just the reality. Yeah. Typically, can't get a quarterback. You can't have two first string, or you can't. It's hard to have a 1A and 1B quarterback because that quarterback would likely get picked up someplace else to start if they were that good. But hopefully, this guy is good enough that if something happens to Goff, that he could carry us at least for a few games if that's the extent of the injury. You're right, Mike. It's a next man up mentality.
Right. Absolutely.
But watching yesterday's game, I don't know, Goff, he didn't get sacked multiple times, did he? Just maybe once?
Getting sacked is one thing. Quarterback pressures, a lot of times they get hit after or during the course of the play.
This is
and
true.
They go down just about the sack.
You're right.
But yesterday, I think they got away with one, even though they won. They left a lot out there, a lot of potential scores. Fortunately for us, we were tough enough to play through it. But to my point, it's our time. And
let's go on the field. Let's go. Go for it. You got nothing to lose.
All right. It's going on the second week in October, and basketball season is about to start in another 2 weeks or so.
That's right.
So what do you think, Mike Miller? What do you think the Pistons are going to pull off this year?
That's hard to say.
Lost a few people.
Yeah, but we gained a few. I think they're going to do. They won't do worse than they did last year, that's for sure. They really don't have anywhere to go but up.
So you see playoffs?
Yes.
You see a postseason?
Yeah. I see a postseason. It may be a first-round postseason, but isn't, what's his name, coming back?
Ivy? He's coming back.
Yes. We might get to the second round if he can really get through the season. I know that he broke his leg, wasn't he?
Yes.
So I think that first season is going to be a little tough, getting your legs back under you, but by mid-season, you get that confidence back where your muscles are strong enough. you're not worried about it. I think they can make it to the second round. They can make it. They're young and they're hungry. That's the thing. They have youth on their side, and now they have some experience. And as long as they don't have too many injuries, again, bug, they can really get to that second round. It's a process. It's a process coming behind, what happened, what was it, 2 years ago?
So the coaching is fine?
Oh, yeah.
Way better than it was. That I don't want to disparage anybody, but we know that coach didn't want to be here.
Right.
And he made it clear he didn't want to be here. And his rotation showed that he didn't want to be there. But now they have a coach that cares. It looks like they're developing into something like, a playoff team that can be there. And they have the youth. That's the key. They have the youth. My concern is, this contract that the NBA has showing the games on so many different platforms. Peacock, NBC,
TBS.
Prime, CBS has some?
No, TBS.
Oh, TBS, that's right. ESPN still has a few games, don't they?
Likely, I'm not sure, but I wouldn't be
I think they
surprised.
get so many different platforms. I was wondering where I could see the Pistons other than FanDuel, which you can see all of the games. But there's so many, I can't keep up, so.
Yeah.
Which gives you a lot of options.
Correct.
Right.
Did you guys see the promotion for Bad Bunny doing the Super Bowl?
I did not see the promotion. Heard a lot of scuttlebutt, but I haven't seen the promotion.
The promotion was pretty clever. It's a close-up of his face, and he's looking off to the side. Then he looks at the camera, draws back. You see him with a straw hat on, and then it pans back further, and you see him in a loosely fitted suit sitting on the goalpost. The goalpost is on the beach, and the ocean is behind him, and you hear seagulls and stuff like that. And then it plays a little bit of his song, and then it cuts. It's a pretty cool, sneaky, surprising commercial.
Good.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cleverly done. But speaking of the scuttlebutt, as you say, Keith, wow.
Yeah.
So much venom.
Ignorance, hatred, racism. Let's call it what it is.
Yeah.
Because it just makes no sense. And half of those idiots don't even realize that
Yes.
Puerto Rico is part of the United States.
Right. Yeah.
Our president might not realize it.
Yeah.
Ignorance, blatant. Racism is so obvious. It's just shameful.
Do you have an issue with the fact that you won't be able to understand anything he's singing?
No, I don't have a problem with that. And he might, in his infinite wisdom, he may sing some of it in English.
Right.
Because he can.
Yeah.
I saw something where it was suggested that do people have a problem when they go to the opera and listen to an aria in other languages? It's just the beauty of the music. It is what it is. And so when you make the type of music that he makes, if you got a great beat, and his popularity is immense. So
Yeah.
I can guarantee you that a lot of the audience, most of the audience, whether they're MAGA or not, and there'll be some MAGA folks too that enjoy his music.
Oh, absolutely.
But they want to make everything about politics if they can, because they want to continue to be divisive, which they are.
Critics disapprove of Bad Bunny's public criticism of Donald Trump's administration and support for Puerto Rican and immigrant communities. I have a big problem with that. Just like he said, Keith, Puerto Rico is part of the United States. He's a United States citizen. So how can you, if you are a supporter of the United States and our Constitution, how are you going to criticize Bad Bunny for his support for his own community?
Right.
That's un-American to me. In addition, some conservatives have complained that Bad Bunny sings exclusively in Spanish and is therefore un-American. Bad Bunny, a Puerto Rican native, responded to the criticism during his Saturday Night Live monologue by saying, "If you don't understand what I just said, you have 4 months to learn."
Oh,
I love that. I love it.
nice.
Now, Mike, you have to tell us the source because we probably have to get
This
credit.
source, I'm not writing this. This source is from 18 different sites. This is an AI generated on Google. If you Google what is the controversy about,
Okay.
and I Googled it, but this morning on NBC, Craig Melvin had Jennifer Lopez on. She has this new movie coming out. Anyway, he asked her about the controversy involving Bad Bunny, and she said, "What controversy? What are you talking about?" And he laughed. Oh, and without saying it, they said, "What you said, Keith." You know what I mean? She said, "Look, he puts on a wonderful performance. Look at the performance, listen to the music. He puts on a wonderful show. It's nothing with his political stances. That's part of being American. Support for your community is part of being American. Having a grievance with the government over different policies is part of being American. That's what has made us great. A lot of people just don't like this coming behind Kendrick Lamar's performance last year at the Super Bowl. We had a black guy last year, and now we got a Puerto Rican guy. These MAGA supporters they need to tone it down. They need to tone it down.
Can you be a DEI performer?
Exactly. The Super Bowl committee determines who they want. And here's the most interesting thing before we go to the next subject. Why would ICE say they're going to ramp up patrols at the Super Bowl with his performance?
Right.
Do you know how much it costs to go to the Super Bowl?
Absolutely.
12,000?
Right.
15,000?
What illegal immigrant is going to shut out that kind of money? That is just plain. It is what it is.
They're ignorant.
They're showing just how dumb they are. Oh, we're going to ramp up patrols at the Super Bowl. He's performing. Well, he's an American citizen.
Yeah. Hey, Mike, you'll like this. They've got to spend taxpayer money to show up because they're not showing up for free.
No, right? no. I see. Modern version of the Gestapo.
Basically.
That's what this is turning into, but I don't want to get to that right now. We got other stuff to talk about.
I think it's a brilliant move on the NFL by having Bad Bunny do the halftime show, especially with their endeavors of trying to get viewership globally. They started off with one game in London. Now they're doing games in Brazil, London, and Germany.
Ireland, different places.
So on their part, it's a brilliant move because he's international.
Curious, does Jay-Z still have input in terms of what artists will perform?
Yeah, it was his pick.
That's what I thought.
Oh, wow.
Rock Nation made that call.
Good. Good. Yeah. Okay.
And like Mike said, behind closed doors, he probably had to persuade them. He might not have to persuade them.
Exactly.
Now, of course, all of that came about because of racism. Some of the football still
it definitely was. Yes, from the protests around Colin Kaepernick, 100%.
Right. Black Lives Matter.
And Black Lives Matter. Right. So imagine the hue and cry knowing that Jay-Z has that kind of authority to make decisions like that. They'll be saying, you know what, there's one DEI you're going to have to get rid of. But the thing about it is it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to strong arm the NFL because they bring billions. I mean, you talk about influence.
Right.
Down the NFL.
Right.
You can't do it.
No.
We got our shutdown. We got our federal government shutdown. The country is at a halt. We talked about possibly doing other methods or means, but the federal government shutting down, the Democrats have somewhat of an edge at this point. Now, they're saying they're doing it because of the Affordable Care Act, but truth be told, is because of the lawlessness of our president. They're not really saying that up front, but that's a factor in order to continue to give him the purse strings to do what he wants to do.
The Congress does have the power of the purse, and he's overstepping every line that you can imagine. And I think that, again, it's obviously a part of the MAGA playbook. It was anticipated. The Democrats have dug in their heels, and they're playing hardball, or they're fighting fire with fire. And a lot of times in a situation like this, obviously, the people are the ones who lose, right? The ones who suffer. But I think in this particular instance, you can't always acquiesce to the other side because that's what they anticipate. Sometimes you got to dig in and let things play out. Ultimately, from the standpoint of the populace, People are aware of what's going on, and although they're pointing fingers at the Democrat, I think people are recognize that when the Republicans have both seats of the legislature and the executive's position, the presidency, that's where the power lies. And so they can at any time decide to make some amends, give in, give a little bit, particularly as it relates to people's health care. Lord have mercy. And this thing the government can open back up. But to your point, Tom, it's about power.
Yeah.
It's about the president overstepping his bounds. And at what point do you just say enough is enough? And this seems to be that point. How much of a difference it'll make, we'll see. But nobody's blinking yet.
But the whole idea of not having conversations about the Affordable Care Act seems very strange when you're talking about when you walked in the door saying, hey, we're going to reduce your cost of living, and this administration is going to do everything we can. And everything says if you take away those subsidies, that their cost of living is going to go up.
Absolutely. Close to terrorists as well.
Oh, yeah.
People off of Medicaid, reducing the monies for Medicare. People are suffering, and I don't think anything he has said up to this point has any truth in it. He's done contra to everything he's promised, and he's doing it with his chest stuck out. Go ahead, Mike, because I can see you boiling over. I know get your point.
I did watch the shows this weekend. In particular, I watched Meet the Press, and I was exhausted by Hakeem Jeffries' responses to the questions. They were yes or no questions, but his answers
He's
were
passionate.
just exhausting. I don't look at it as being passionate. I look at it as being excuses.
Oh, excuses. Okay.
Yeah. Rhetoric or whatever.
Okay.
But that's just my take on it. And after watching that show, Meet the Press, and then catching a little bit of the one on CBS, I was just kind of, I was just exhausted from that.
Okay.
Mike?
We got to take a step back here and remember how the budget was determined anyway.
Yeah.
Which was with zero Democratic input.
Correct.
The Republicans just said, this is what it is. This is what it's going to be. You're going to have to accept it. And as to my knowledge, that there was zero input from the other side, or very little, if any. And I don't think there was any. What the Democrats conditioned their support on was extending health care subsidies and reversing cuts to Medicare and other health programs. And of course, the Republicans have so far declined to support those changes. The reason that they did that is because if this were to pass, even if they extend a temporary funding bill, the cuts to healthcare are going to expire. The subsidies to healthcare are going to expire.
Right.
The subsidies are going to expire during this process.
Right.
And that's what the Democrats are saying. No, during this process, you cannot let these expire. And the Republicans, we don't get it done in time, and then they're just going to expire. And they're not going to get it done. Trump had no problem shutting the government down. He really doesn't have a problem with it.
Congress is not in session.
They don't have a problem. They all get their paychecks. They're not shutting it down.
That's Johnson sending them home.
Right.
The ploy. That's part of the playbook.
What's his name? Oh gosh, the big billionaire guy. He came up with the plan. He said, if you want to stop this nonsense, number one, if the government shuts down, they don't get their paychecks.
Right.
Not the president, not Congress, not anybody. Right. That's the number one thing. And when you serve, you get your paycheck, but when you leave, you don't get health care for the rest of your life.
Do that.
You don't get the health care that you get now unless you're paying for it.
Right.
Because they're not paying for it.
No.
We're paying for that. Right. He had a lot of changes. He had a lot. I have that post. That was very interesting what he said could be done to avoid all of this, government shutdowns.
Is that the same article he was talking about to eliminate deficits?
Believe so.
Yeah, because I've seen that floating around.
If there was a deficit, their raises were tied to something. I have to read the article again, but you're right. It had something to do with deficits in there also. And I was reading Tangle, which they present both sides, the Democratic side, the left and the right. They present the left and the right. And I don't always agree with the right, but they present it. So It is what it is. But then they go to the reader survey, and most of them say the reason that the government is shut down. Which of the following parties do you think deserves the most blame for the current government shutdown? 61.5% said President Trump. Some said House Republicans. 1.5% said House Democrats. But it's clear he wanted this shutdown. He's not worried about it. He didn't care if he fires people. It's like you said, Keith, it's part of the program. Shut it down, then that makes your plan go even faster because you want to get rid of a lot of these civil servants anyway. Once you take control of the government, that's it. How are we going to get rid of these fascists? It's all part of the plan.
This was the only thing that the Democrats had in their bag to pull.
They're doing it.
Like Keith said, I hope they stick to their guns on this. Yeah, because they need it. They need to. They don't need to do any extensions, no CRs. They need to go ahead and ride this out. And hopefully they can't persuade any more senators, because right now they got 3. All they need is 4 more.
7. Yep, 7.
To pass the 60s total, to open the government back up.
I wasn't aware there was 3. I thought there was 1. Didn't know that 2 others had jumped on board. But Schumer, who, like you said, initially went for it, has been on TV saying loud and clear, we just can't allow this to happen because it's going to impact so many people. And it's also going to shoot up the cost of health care by over 100%, I heard.
Right.
Yeah.
By over 100%.
Well,
he's in everybody's pocket. And because it doesn't impact him or his family or his friends, right? So he literally doesn't care about the people. And it's apparent.
Now, my understanding, too, was that it was not just going to affect the people who were getting a subsidy, but private health insurance was going to go up also. Did you guys?
Everybody.
Yeah. Okay.
Everybody. All of us will be impacted.
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
So that man, it's what it is. Yeah. So a lot of people going to be without health care. A whole lot. What can I do? I better start eating right because this ain't going to work. There's no way my mind goes.
It's a shame you can't afford to even get a common cold. Imagine the people who get bronchitis or just basic things, right? They go in and you get care. It doesn't have to be deathly, but it could turn into something deathly if you can't afford to get care.
Right.
And I can't remember who the congressperson was, but Bernie Sanders. He said that this will impact 50,000 lives per year if we allow this to happen, because there will be so many people taking off the rolls for health care. A lot of people won't be afford health care. And as a consequence, people who would otherwise live will die. The projection is 50,000 people per year. So that's the penance to the fascist chief. He could care less. And that is, unfortunately, 100% true.
So we're at a standstill. We can't get Mike Johnson to hold a session for votes.
They were going to hold another session today, from what I understand, but they didn't expect to pass.
That's in the Senate, right?
That's in the Senate, right? They didn't expect anything to pass. So, everybody's dug into their position. And we should not have caved the first time.
Yeah, I agree.
So now we're in a really bad position. So now we can't cave. No, just don't do it. I know it's going to affect a lot of people, but you can't do it. And so here's my question. If the government stays shut down, would the subsidies still expire anyway?
I would think yes. I would think. Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know the answer.
You know what? I think they would, because the subsidies aren't tied to whether the government is open or not. They said they're going to stop these subsidies as of
December 31st.
I don't see the government staying shut down until that time.
I don't.
Right.
I can't.
That I don't see anyway. But I do see them just doing continuing resolutions,
Right,
to fund the government for another 2 months, or 60 days, or 90 days, whatever they come up with.
right.
And during those continuing resolutions, that's what they're saying. The subsidies will expire. That's why they want guarantees that no, these won't expire, even with the CRs. They won't expire. So, no, they need to dig their heels in, and the other side needs to relent on that one.
It's going to be painful either way. Because as it stands, even with the bills that have been passed for specific spending on different projects, the government has refused to continue to fund those projects. And so
I forgot about
basically
that. Right.
what they do is get what they want and then do what they want.
Right.
So it's not a win-win situation. And that's why I said we've gotten to this place because as Democrats, they've always tried to quote unquote play fair. They wanted to come across as the good guys per se. And unfortunately, politics is dirty, and the Republicans have played the dirt.
Don't say that.
The Republicans don't play fair, and now we've got to play the same. We got to fight
Right.
fire with
Right.
fire time.
We got to get in the
And so-
mud, huh?
Right.
Got to get deep into the mud, because basically they're going to say, you know what, do it this way. Their compromise is just do it our way, and at some point we'll do it your way. And then when you come back and say, I thought you were going to do it our way. Get out of here, suckers.
That's exactly
Yeah.
what they're saying.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it.
Right. Right.
We fell for
That's
that.
too many
Too many times.
Right.
No more falling. This my way of the highway thing started under Ronald Reagan. Previous to Ronald Reagan, the Republican Party did have some morals. What they did was there were always disagreements.
Yes, always.
So if it was so bad, the leaders of both parties went into a room, they had lunch, they had dinner, and they hashed out what it was going to be. They came out, and each of them told their respective parties, deal. This is what you're going to vote. You're going to vote yes on this deal. Until Ronald Reagan came in saying, my way or the highway. And then Newt Gingrich was the first one shutting down the government. See, it got progressively worse for it in time. So now we're at a point where every time someone acquiesces power to the fascist in chief, it fuels his ambition, and he just wants more.
Wants more.
Right. And that's what we got going with this budget deal, because when they went into that room, the left and the right, the Democrat with the president, he just had a temper tantrum. He just told him, you're going to accept this deal, I'll just shut it down. And so he shut down.
Here's the one thing about the willingness to compromise or to play politics, though. The population, the people do not win, because the way it's
Right.
been done traditionally, when you go in those rooms and you make deals, basically what they do is give more than they can. And so in a lot of ways, those deals have fattened the budget. They've bloated the budget. It makes it hard to balance a budget when your give and take is just really give. Okay, I'll make an exception if you do this for that person or you do this for my state. We can work on that, but you have to do this for my people. And before you know it, the budget is bloated because the compromise is based on give and take, but it's more give on each side. In my opinion, a lot of times you come out of there and how do you compromise? You're not going in and giving up nothing, giving up everything and getting nothing. And so a lot of times when you make that compromise, you're selling out in a way. You're selling your people out in a way, to the extent that you're trying to get more money for this project or that project. It might benefit your state, but it's bloating the budget, because our budget that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
And that's another but billions coming in from these tariffs. Everybody's sending us so much money. That's all I got. I don't understand why the budget is out of whack now. We got so much money. Where's it going?
Hey, look, he got everybody he wants in place so that they can say whatever they want. And it's, as far as he's concerned, he can make up anything, and it's the truth. So we're at a point like other countries where propaganda is so prevalent. At some point, none of us are going to know up from down. Trust the other government that we have will no longer be there.
Scary.
Because
Correct.
this game he's played with, everything is fake news except what I say, really soured. Not that politics was ever sweet, but has soured people on politics. And it's red pill, blue pill. Which pill do you want? It's all the matrix at the end of the day. People won't know what to believe. And that's the truth. If people won't to believe, man. It's weird, but it's real. It's the matrix, dog. It's the matrix.
He's right.
Which pill do you want to take? The red one or the blue one? And the irony of it, red, blue.
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
I just thought about the blue pill. Which rabbit hole do you want to go down?
Which hole you want to go down?
Right.
What's your reality?
It's been a while since we had a Save the Children segment that you got psychologists having input and reports are being done. You have the Surgeon General talking about how social media and cell phones are causing mental health and physical health, because kids are staring at their phones when they should be sleeping and not getting enough sleep. That's your physical. You staring at your phone and seeing social media and comparing yourself to social media is the mental. So now where I'm at, I'm substitute teaching again at another school, in another district. The kids still have access to their phones, but they're not supposed to take them out during the course of the day.
Okay.
But then I saw something the other day on CBS Sunday morning where they were talking to kids, and the kids don't have access to their phone at all, or in some cases, no electronics at all, not even computers. Well, no, that computer situation was on the university campus. The professor didn't want anything in his classroom. But what's your take on cell phones in school?
Let me put it to you like this. I didn't have a cell phone in school, and I'm doing fine, right?
Right.
And so, if all seriousness, if it's a disrupting factor, which in many cases it is because
Yep.
it's so addictive, it's not only addictive for kids. Let's keep it real. It's addictive for us adults too. Because, I put my phone down a lot, but when I pick it up, I tune in to FB, see what's going on, then I tune out, or the algorithms are already set up, so I got a lot of sports stuff coming in. I put on the Lions, Pistons, Tigers. But that's the catch-22. A lot of times parents are saying, now I need to be able to reach out to my kids at any point with all of the school shootings or the threats of school shooting. You want access to your kids. I mean,
That's there, but
mhm.
I would say the likelihood, maybe not take the phone from the kid because like you said, you want to have access to them. Chances are 99% of the time you're not reaching out to your kid.
That's
And
true.
yeah,
I agree with you.
yeah. And then if, like you say, back in the day, if my mom needed to reach me, she called the office.
Call the office.
Now,
Call the
because of
office.
the age we're living in now with school shootings, you can't negate those things. Not those things are actually happening.
There's ways around it, Tom. How would you feel about all your parents having your cell phone number to contact you at any given time?
How would I feel having it?
Because shut the kids' phones down.
Right.
If you allow them to keep them, kids can be sneaky. The bad kids going to do what the bad kids
Yeah.
do, right?
Right.
But you can say, hey, you can pledge to shut them down. If you turn them on, or if I see you on it, you're going to be kicked out of school for a day, or
Right.
extra homework, or whatever
Right.
it might be. But I don't think that it should be as difficult as what we make it, because at this point, we want to be able to say to the kid, you can have whatever you want whenever you want it. Kids are kids.
Yeah.
We have to be able to make decisions that's going to benefit those kids. And being attached to the phone 90% of the time is not beneficial.
Right.
And I think that schools, administrators should not be afraid to take a stance, to communicate to parents that it's disruptive, it's not benefiting your child.
Right.
And I would prefer, if it were me, not in the school system, to leave the phone at home. But short of that, the kid has to, if he's going to bring it or she's going to bring it, then they have to have it off during
Right.
class. Now, if they seem to turn it on in between classes for whatever that's worth, then so be it. I can't 100% monitor that.
Right.
But in my class, the kids will not have a phone. So
Yeah.
that's how I feel about it.
That's how I feel about it too. What I'm thinking in my head is when you tell a kid to do something as an adult, there used to be a time they did it.
Absolutely.
Now they're so disrespectful in the sense that, like you said, they're going to be sneaky. And it's not just bad kids, it's all kids. They're going to
That's right.
stretch, they're going to come up to the line and see if they can step over that line every time. Again, it's not just the bad kids, it's the good kids who are influenced into doing that. Right now, I think the best thing is to allow them to have the phone in their possession, but not take it out of their backpack or not take it out of their pocket or their purse. They can look at it in between classes or on the lunch break.
Do they turn it off, or do they just have, because it'll ring, or?
Yeah, that's true. But I don't think I would have them turn it off because of the potential of craziness in this world that can take place.
So
No.
would they just put it on vibrate?
Just put it on vibrate, because if you need to go hide in the corner and call somebody or make an emergency call, if you don't have your phone, I hate to think what kind of potential lawsuits would come out of that. My kid was not able to save themselves. I'm getting to a point now that I could be talking about this in circles and not really come to a conclusion on it.
Okay.
It's always good to hear Mike when we put a lot out there, Keith.
You're all correct, but okay, just hear me out. There is no emergency that I can think of that's going to happen in a school classroom where a phone call from your child to the parent is going to save them or make any difference as to what's happening at that point in time.
True.
Whatever's if there's a school shooter, phone call ain't gonna do nothing. The focus of the child and the teacher is safety at that point. It's not calling. It's nobody you can call. The calls have already been made. I wouldn't worry about any lawsuits from anybody. There's no phone call that's going to hold off whatever's going on in that classroom at that time. And that's number one. Number two, and I guess more importantly than number one, study after study, scientific study after study have shown that the more screen time that a child has, it affects the development of their brain. And that is the bottom line. No matter what CDC or anybody else says, or what's that crazy man's name, RFK Jr., the bottom line. Real scientists, real studies.
Like I said, the Surgeon General says that social media.
So here in Michigan, while there's no statewide law, it is up to the school districts to come up with their own policy. Avondale uses magnetically sealed bags to secure phones during the school day. Fraser Public Schools require students to keep phones in lockers or class caddies. Phone use is generally prohibited even at lunch. Flushing High School implemented a bell-to-bell ban for the 25-26 school year, with phones required to be put away in class and not used in hallways. Lakeview School District expanded a bell-to-bell phone ban to include all grade levels from kindergarten to 12th grade. Etowah Consolidated Schools requires high school students to place phones in a caddy at the start of each class. That's just some of them. Everybody has their own policy. But no, I don't think that. I think that a phone in class is a distraction. It's not needed. It's not required. If anything is going on, there's no phone call that the child is going to make to a parent that's going to affect the outcome, because they can't leave the classroom anyway. You know what I mean? If there's an emergency, no, you're locked down.
Right.
You don't leave unless you're going out of a window to get away from bullets flying in the hallway.
Right.
And you don't need to call anybody to tell you to do that. I don't think that phones should be in anyone's possession during school time. It's hard enough for these kids to learn now. Look how hard it is for them to even make change at a fast food place. And you want me to have cell phones in these classrooms to make it even harder? No more distractions. They can't do simple math as it is. So that's my take on it. Nope, it's not needed at all. Look what's happened so far. So no, we don't need any more distraction.
Hey, Mike, that puts me right back to the beginning. I didn't have a cell phone then.
Thank you. We didn't have cell phone. We didn't have
college
we
either.
didn't have, right. We didn't have GPS, yet we knew how to get to all of our friends' homes. We knew their phone numbers by heart. Think about it. In high school, you knew I didn't have to look at a book to know my friend's phone. I knew all my friends' phone numbers,
Right.
every single one of them.
Yeah.
I knew how to get to their houses. Even if I couldn't remember the exact address, I knew the landmarks and right where that house was.
Mm-hmm.
There's a GPS right here.
That's right.
God gave you a GPS. That's right. Yeah, we got along just fine. Yes. These kids that can't even remember simple things, I don't get it. I just don't get it. And they look at you funny when you know what you're doing. You can remember that. How do you know that? Like your routing number, it's an account number for your bank account that you've been using all your life. I went in when I wanted the automatic payment for my cell phone and signed it up through my checking account. He said, "Do you have a check with you?" I said, "I know my numbers," and I rattled them off to him. It looked me really strange. And he said,
I would have too. I was like, why are you retaining that?
I'm like, because I use it all the time. I see this check I've been writing checks all my life.
Right.
I know that that's something that gets embedded for me.
No, there are certain things. You're right.
Right. There's certain things that you just know. And yeah, I know my routing number and my account number. To do something while I'm out, I don't need to have a physical check. I know what my numbers are. Exactly.
And Mike, I dare say that's really good. But I wonder how many people even know their driver's license number.
I know mine.
These kids won't know their social security number.
Oh my
There's
God.
just things that they've given up because they're relying on the technology.
Correct.
Some
And
would
this
say
was
it's
my
there, so
technology.
use it. But to your point,
Right.
Mike, you got to use the brain power is very important.
Right.
man.
The brain is what invented this phone, this mobile computer. The
Absolutely.
brain is what invented this.
That's correct.
Exactly. Yep. So I'm gonna leave it at that.
All right, guys. I think we kind of came to an end on that one.
Okay.
That's all the time we have this week. Be sure to hit the follow button to receive a notification when we upload a new episode. To learn more about today's topics, go to the show description. You can text us. Join us every week by becoming a follower on your favorite streaming service. If you enjoy our podcast, become a supporter. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week with the What's Going On podcast.